Hey, my fellow minor league nerds, we're back! Sorry for the long delay between episodes. Welcome to our 99th release and our newest franchise history episode. With the new collegiate summer league team, the Marion Hungry Mothers, starting play recently, we figured we'd cover Marion's only professional teams, the Marion A's and the Mets. Marion's first professional team, the Marion A's, came to town after the Welsh miners of Welsh, West Virginia, relocated to the town after sustaining insurmountable debts. They were actually the second Welsh miners team. The first one played in the Class D Mountain State League from 1937 to 1942, with the league shutting down due to World War II. The second team began playing in the Class D Appalachian League in 1946. They won back-to-back league championships in 1952 and 1953 while being affiliated with the Boston Braves and the Philadelphia Athletics respectively. In 1954, they finished in fourth place of the six-team league with a 59-54 record, being knocked out of the first round of the playoffs by the eventual league champions, the Bluefield Blue Grays. Their attendance fell by over 16,000 that season, with the team falling into a financial hole when they racked up $6,650 worth of debt, which is just over $79,300 today. The Miners returned in 1955, but after 2.5 months of play, they found themselves deeper in the hole, amounting an additional $4,500 worth of debt, which is just over $53,800 today. The team's board of directors decided it was time to throw in the towel. The franchise was transferred to Marion, Virginia, while holding a record of 30-47. As the Miners, they split their last two games in a doubleheader against the Kingsport Cherokees, losing the first game 5-3 and winning the second game 5-0. Upon moving to Marion, they were renamed the A's, adopting their parent club's name, and played their first game in Salem, Virginia on Friday, July 15th, losing 8-4 to the Salem Rebels. Their first home game was played 2 days later at Marion Stadium. 1,062 fans came out to see them beat the Pulaski Phillies 10-9, despite being out-hit 16-13. Things didn't improve for the team after they moved to Marion, with them going 15-30 the rest of the way, finishing in last place of the 8-team league with an overall record of 45-77. The Appalachian League, which had been operating in this incarnation since 1937, did not return in 1956, despite all the hard work by league president Chauncey DeVault to keep it going. There was a plan to play as a 4-team league, but nothing could be accomplished. The league returned in 1957 and has operated every year since, with the exception of 2020. In 1964, the Appalachian League, which now had a rookie-level classification, played with only 4 teams. A 5th team was expanded to Marion, Virginia, with them affiliating with the National League New York Mets, adopting their parent club's name. The league had planned on playing with only 5 teams that season, but on June 19th, 5 days before the season was scheduled to begin, a 6th team, the Harlan Red Sox, was added to the league. They would only play that one season. The Mets played their home games at Marion High School baseball field, which was also called Marion Stadium. The town had been trying to get back into the Appalachian League since it returned in 1957. The ballpark needed a lot of work before the team was able to play there. The playing surface was resodded, with a ditch along third baseline also being filled in. The parent club also mandated that water fountains be installed in both dugouts. Local volunteers who were eager to see professional baseball return to Marion stepped up to help out whenever they could. As more work was needed to fix up the ballpark, the more people around town chipped in. Some even went so far as to donate dirt for the infield, as well as equipment that was needed to fix the playing surface. The Appalachian League required that 500 season tickets be sold. Fans were able to purchase a 30-pack of tickets for $10, with them exceeding expectations. The local JCs agreed to pay $500 to operate the ballpark's concession stands. Courier minor leaguer Pete Pavlik was hired to manage the team. He had previously managed the Sandersville Giants in the Georgia State League in 1955 and 1956, as well as the St. Cloud Rocks in the Northern League in 1957. Most of his players were aged 18 and 19 and were playing their first professional season. Tickets to attend Mets games cost around 50 cents for adults and 25 cents for kids 12 and under. They opened the season on the road for a 2-game series against the defending champions, the Johnson City Yankees, on June 24th and 25th. Many fans in Marion could not wait to see their brand new team play, so they made the 90-minute drive to Johnson City to catch their first game, which was rained out. They ended up playing their first ever game the following day on July 25th. Lefty Jim Jenkins got the start for the Mets, with the team jumping out to a 5-0 lead after 5 innings. Jenkins struck out 10 Yankees, only allowing 1 hit in those 5 innings. The Mets bullpen, though, was unable to hold on to the lead, giving up 2 runs in the 6th, 2 more in the 7th, and 5 more in the 8th, with Johnson City going on to win 9-6. The game lasted 3 hours and 7 minutes. They returned home the following day to play their first game in Marion against fellow expansion team, the Harlan Red Sox. More than 1,200 fans showed up to a ballpark that only had seats for about 700, going far and beyond what the team had hoped to draw. For those who attended Marion High School baseball games, the ballpark had taken on a new life. Fresh ads for local businesses had been placed in the left field wall, and the PA system got a makeover. A member of the New York Mets grounds crew actually came down to build the pitcher's mound. James McAndrew, who pitched in the major leagues for the Mets from 1968 to 1973, and the San Diego Padres in 1974, got the start for Marion, lasting 4 innings. Harlan scored first, plating 2 in the top of the 4th, with Marion scoring 1 in the 6th. In the 7th, Harlan took a 5-1 lead, but Marion scored 2 in the bottom of the inning and 2 in the bottom of the 9th to send the game into extra innings. Neither team was able to score in the 10th, but in the 11th, Marion put 1 across the plate to win the game 6-5. We don't know exactly how they scored the winning run. For as much excitement as there was about their first home game, there wasn't much press coverage. Marion did pretty well that season, staying in the pennant race for most of the year before fading away in August. Their sliding in the standings was caused mostly due to key players performing so well that they were promoted to higher teams in the Mets system. They finished the season in 3rd place, 6 games behind the pennant-winning Salem Rebels. There were no playoffs in the Appalachian League, with the first place team being awarded the league pennant. They were no hit by John Rawls of the Bluefield Orioles on July 19th, losing 7-0 in 7 innings in the first game of a doubleheader. The Mets went on to win the second game 2-1. It's known that the Marion Mets wore hand-me-down uniforms from their parent club in that first season. In this team photo, you can see that some of the uniforms have a commemorative 1964 World's Fair patch on them, which was held in Queens near Shea Stadium the previous year. For those of you listening on the podcast, we'll be sure to share the photos on our social media pages. The most well-known player to take the field for Marion actually played for them that season. It was 18-year-old future Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan. He was drafted out of high school by the Mets in the 12th round as the 226th overall pick in the 1965 MLB draft. He joined the team sometime before July 8th. Obviously, there wasn't any fanfare when he joined the team, as no one had any idea what kind of player he would become. Team president Bob Garnett, who picked Ryan up from the bus stop, thought he was so frail looking he was worried he'd break his arm carrying his luggage, so Garnett carried it for him. When he first arrived to Marion, Ryan didn't even have a uniform because there weren't any extras. He didn't receive one until another player was released. Manager Pete Pavlik had him warm up in the bullpen during a series in Bluefield on July 8th and 9th, but he didn't appear in either game. He made his first appearance out of the bullpen on July 10th during a game against the Salem Rebels, relieving starter James Jenkins in the 6th. And it didn't go all that great. He pitched an inning and 2/3, giving up 3 runs on 3 hits with 5 walks and 2 strikeouts. He went 0 for 1 at the plate as well, with the Mets falling 7-2 to the Rebels. This was his one and only appearance out of the bullpen that season. 3 days later, he made his first start at home against the Wytheville Senators. It was a much better outing, with him only giving up 3 hits through 6 innings, striking out 12. When he left the game, the Mets were up 3-0. Unfortunately, Marion's bullpen gave up 5 runs in the 7th, with the Senators going on to win 7-3. In his first professional season in Marion, Nolan Ryan went 3-6 with a 4.38 ERA in 13 appearances with 12 starts and 78 innings pitched. He threw 2 complete games, 1 shutout, gave up 61 hits, 47 runs, 38 of which were earned, 4 homers, 56 walks, of which 3 were intentional, 115 strikeouts, 6 wild pitches, and had a whip of 1.500. There's actually a historical marker on Main Street in Marion, Virginia, commemorating Nolan's baseball career beginning in the town. 1966 was a great season for the Marion Mets. The Appalachian League played with only 5 teams as the Wytheville Senators sat out for the season. We assume it was due to the Washington Senators pulling their affiliation, with no other MLB club stepping up to fill the void. The Cincinnati Reds did place a team there in 1967. Playing with only 5 teams caused some interesting scheduling for the league, as teams would often play doubleheaders against 2 different teams on the same day during the season. They were led by Buddy Peterson, who played 15 professional seasons in the minors, majors, and in Japan. This was his first ever season managing a ball club. He led the Mets to their first Appalachian League pennant, with them clinching it on August 31st after they swept a doubleheader from the Salem Rebels, taking the first game 14-0 and the second game 7-5. They ended the season with a 43-26 record, 3 games up on the Johnson City Yankees. Their offense led the league in runs scored with 421, triples with 24, RBIs with 360, with future major leaguer Mike Jorgensen leading the team with 37. They also led the league in stolen bases with 83, and the batting average when they hit .265 as a team. They also led the league with a .391 OBP, a .376 slugging percentage, and a .767 OPS. On the pitching side, they led the league with 18 complete games, the fewest runs allowed at 324, the lowest earned runs allowed at 262, and the fewest walks allowed with 294. Other future major leaguers who played for Marion that season include Jerry Morales, who played 15 seasons with 5 MLB teams, Ed Figueroa, who spent 8 seasons with 4 different teams, Ernie McAnally, who played 4 seasons for the Montreal Expos, and Juan Rios, who played 87 games for the 1969 AL expansion team, the Kansas City Royals. 1967 saw them managed by former Major League player and manager Bertie Tebbetts in what was his last season leading a team. He went on to become a well-respected scout for the next 30 seasons. Reggie Jackson credited his scouting report with helping him hit 3 home runs in Game 6 of the 1977 World Series. Tebbetts led them to a second-place 37-27 finish, 3.5 games behind the pennant-winning Bluefield Orioles. The only player in Marion that season to see any significant time in the majors was Ted Martinez, who played 9 seasons with the New York Mets, Oakland A's, St. Louis Cardinals, and Los Angeles Dodgers. The Appalachian League shrunk back down to a 4-team league for the 1968 season after both the Salem Rebels and the Wytheville Reds did not return. It was another great season for the Mets, seeing them win their second league pennant when they finished with a 42-30 record, 2.5 games up on the Covington Astros. The pennant was clinched on August 28th when they defeated the Johnson City Yankees 8-7. Tim Foley, who played 63 games for Marion that season, along with John Milner, who appeared in 67, were the only players who would see any significant time in the major leagues. Foley played 16 seasons with 5 major league teams, while Milner played 12 seasons with 3 different teams. The Marion Mets would go on to play 8 more seasons, winning no more league pennants. In that time, they only had 3 winning seasons, finishing in second place in 1969 with a 37-32 record, 5th place in 1973 with a 36-33 record, and 4th place in 1975 with a 35-33 record. In 1970, Roman Schmidt played 37 games for the Marion Mets, only hitting .134 and striking out 38 times. He played 1 game for the Pompano Beach Mets in 1971, never making it to the majors. After retiring from baseball, he followed in his father's footsteps and became an elephant trainer, working for Circus World in Orlando and Busch Gardens in Tampa before passing away from liver failure in May 2001 at the age of 49. The highlight of his baseball career came on August 11, 1970, when he caught the Marion Mets' first no-hitter, which was thrown by Randy Poog against the Burlington Royals. He had one of his best games at the plate that night, going 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored and 2 RBIs, with the Mets winning the 7-inning first game of a doubleheader 12-0. They went on to win the second game 1-0. The Mets saw a second no-hitter thrown by Jimmy Johnson on August 20th, 1973, in a rain-shortened 6-inning affair, with the Mets winning 6-0. It was thrown 2 days after Mark Klein of the Pulaski Phillies no-hit Marion in the first game of a 7-inning doubleheader. One of the best non-no-hitter pitching performances in Marion's history took place at Marion Stadium on August 16, 1971, when 5'11", 18-year-old Ed Berge struck out 20 Bristol Tigers. It was his first professional season, as he was drafted by the Mets out of high school that year. Berge was locked in that game with nothing distracting him. Not the heat, the noise in the ballpark, nor the trains rumbling along the tracks a few yards behind left center. Through the first 4 innings, he had 7 strikeouts. Team president Bob Garnett, who also wrote a column in the weekly Smythe County News, wrote that he seemed to grow stronger with every pitch. The Big League Mets director of player development at the time, Whitey Herzog, was in attendance. It seems Garnett was right about Berge getting stronger as the game went on. He struck out 3 batters in the 5th, 6th, 8th, and 9th inning, and only struck out 1 in the 7th. His catcher for the night was Larry Berra, son of Hall of Famer Yogi Berra. Berra pretty much only called for fastballs and curves, saying that Berge threw every pitch exactly where he placed his mitt. He only gave up 1 walk in the 2nd inning and 3 hits in the entire game, which Marion won 5-1. 2 of his hits actually should have been outs, with center fielder Isaac Small missing a fly ball due to slipping on the wet grass, with another one landing between the second baseman and the right fielder. During that season in Marion, he struck out 93 batters in 12 games, averaging out to 11.3 batters per 9 innings. Earlier in the season, he struck out 11 Pulaski Phillies, and less than a week later, he struck out 12 Bluefield Orioles. His professional career only lasted 2 more seasons, with him pitching for the Pompano Beach Mets in 1972 and 3 games for the Memphis Blues in 1973. As already mentioned, Hall of Famer Yogi Berra's son, Lawrence Allen Berra II, who went by Larry, played for the Marion Mets in 1971. The New York Mets signed him as a 22-year-old out of Montclair State College, now University, in Montclair, New Jersey. The week before his signing, the Mets drafted another junior, Gil Hodges Jr., the son of Hall of Famer Gil Hodges, who at the time was managing the New York Mets. Whitey Herzog sent both players to Marion to begin their careers. Hodges only played 6 games in the Appy League, being promoted to the Pompano Beach Mets of the Florida State League after hitting .429 with 1 homer and 1 double. Larry would play 15 games in Marion, only hitting .150 with 1 homer, 1 double, and 8 RBIs. His season, and essentially career, would be cut short due to an injury. During a game against the Wytheville Braves in August, a Braves batter hit a Baltimore chop that both Larry and his pitcher, Mike Anderson, went after. Larry called it, but due to the light rain that night, Mike slid into him, bending the catcher's knee in a direction it was not meant to go. Several feet away in the Mets dugout, team manager Chuck Hiller heard something pop. Larry's knee was seriously injured, ending his season. He returned in 1972, doing well in spring training with the New York Mets, and was assigned to Pompano Beach, where he only played 5 games, hitting .091. He was sent down to the Batavia Trojans of the short-season New York Penn League, where he went hitless in 2 games. His knee was not getting better. After catching his second game in Batavia, he woke up the next day with his knee swollen to the size of a basketball. His knees, which had always given him trouble, led to him calling it a career after only playing 22 games. According to Larry, his most memorable hit was a home run off of future big leaguer Ron Guidry on July 14, 1971. Another career highlight was catching Ed Berge's no-hitter. The Marion Mets did not draw well in 1971. The club blamed all the rain Marion received that summer. It also didn't help that the team only played around .500 ball all season. Looking for a boost at the end of the season, they held what was billed as Booster Night on Wednesday, August 25th. Throughout the game, questions were asked over the stadium speakers, with those who knew the right answers being awarded one of various prizes, which included a gallon of paint, a baseball glove, a savings account at Bank of Marion, a brooch, a Pepsi picnic cooler, 3 gift certificates for 1 box of shotgun shells, records, cash, a Zippo lighter, an ashtray desk set, a coffee maker, a helicopter ride for 2 around Marion, and a 60s model American Rambler, which was given away by a local auto dealership. One question that was asked that night was, which San Francisco Giants player hit a grand slam in the 1962 World Series? Marion's manager, Chuck Hiller, told the 11-year-old bat boy, Billy Earp, that the answer was him and that he should go win a prize. Earp, though, didn't believe him. When the winner and the answer was announced, which indeed was Hiller, he said, "I told you, kid, should've listened to me." In addition to the prizes, the New York Mets first base coach Yogi Berra made a special appearance that night, signing autographs and posing for pictures with fans. His presence caused a stir around town, with a large crowd turning out, packing the stadium. Fans were standing behind the dugout, with many who didn't have seats bringing their own folding chairs. The crowd went home happy, having seen an 18-time All-Star, 13-time World Series champion, 3-time AL MVP, as well as seeing their Mets down the Johnson City Yankees 9-6. The only real disappointment was that Yogi wasn't able to see his son play due to the injury he suffered a week earlier. Other future major leaguers who played for Marion during their last 8 seasons that saw significant time in the majors include Joe Nolan and Hank Webb, who played in Marion in 1969. Bruce Boyclair, was in Marion in 1970. Alex Trevino played in Marion in 1974 and 1975, with Roy Lee Jackson playing there also in 1975. From the 1977 team, it was Jody Davis and Neil Allen. In September 1976, it was announced that the Mets had chosen to end their player development contract in Marion. The Astros did the same with their club in Covington, Virginia. Their departures caused the Appy League to slip from 8 to 6 teams for the 1977 season. After going 49 years with only high school baseball in Marion, Virginia, the independent collegiate woodbat Marion Hungry Mothers began play at Hurricane Stadium, the same ballpark the Mets played in, starting on Memorial Day 2025. They were covered by the Earned Fun Average, Baseball by Design, and the Ballpark Hunter podcasts. They're all great episodes that you should definitely check out if you haven't done so already. Well, my fellow minor league nerds, that'll do it for this episode. If you weren't already aware, we now have a store on TeePublic where you can order t-shirts, sweatshirts, caps, pins, buttons, bags, and pillows. Let the world know that you are also a major nerd for the minor leagues by picking up some swag. We'll leave a link to the store in the episode notes. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast platform of your choice to be notified whenever a new episode is released. And until next time, stay safe and remember to never stop supporting minor league baseball and never stop learning about minor league baseball history. Other future major leaguers. Other future major leaguer. What's a major leaguer? What's a major leaguer?